So, hello everybody. Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm here with a new lecture of chapter number 2, atomic structure. We will discuss the topic of Rutherford's experiment, the discovery of nucleus today. Let's get started without further delay. So now, when electron, proton, and neutron were discovered in an atom, the next problem was to locate their positions. One atomic model was also been given by J.J. Thomson in 1904 before the discovery of electron, which located the negative particles inside of a whole positive abundance. It was like this, that it is stated that the electron and proton are paired up in form pairing. And what happens? That electron orbitize around the positive charge. It says that. Okay. A atom is a space of positively charged, distributed uniformly. It says that the positive charge was whole distributed evenly, like in the what do we say? Well, like imaginatively. Okay. And there we have the negative particles spread over it. Like this, but there was no concept of neutron over here, no positron, but this was further later denied when the Rutherford gave his experiment about the nucleus and when neutron was discovered. In this video lecture, we will totally discuss about the experiment, conclusion, and the facts. In Rutherford 1910, he experimented by bombarding the alpha particles into a gold foil, okay, and checking its reaction. Let me explain the instrument that was used for this experiment. So it is a fluorescence screen, which is usually a metallic sheet. When any particle is emitted out or strikes to it, it glows. This is the kind of sheet. The gold foil, which was a thin metallic foil of 0.0004 centimeter thick, of 0.004 centimeter thickness, as shown in the figure 2.8 here. This was 0.004 centimeters thick. Okay, he observed. Now we are going to discuss the experiment and then we will read this. What happens when he emitted or when he bombarded alpha particles onto this onto this gold foil? It's almost all of the radiations, the particles passed through and remains undeflected. One in the thousandth particle, some deflected sometimes, and some very few particles came back, bombarding over here and causing a glow. Like when alpha particles is 1,000 ray of alpha particle emitted, but and 9,990 remain undeflected and passed straight through the metal foil and struck over here and caused a glow here. Okay, but the one in 19,990 was deflected back or deflected at the angle of 45 degrees. Now, some of the radiations were deflected, which was 1 in 9,990. Here we can come and see a bigger picture of that alpha particles striking toward the metallic foil. As we all know that the metallic foil was so thin that there was almost a chance of having some electrons in this foil. Okay, so a beam of alpha particle which strike the nucleus or which hit the nucleus was deflected at a smaller angle, and almost all were passed straight. And when some strike over here, it went through there. When some strike over here, it went there. Okay, and when some strike over there around the nucleus, it deflected. And some who directly hit the nucleus in center were turned back, but almost all were deflected from this thin sheet, which clearly states that almost all of the like atom is an empty space. Up now, we will further discuss the properties or the conclusions or the features that he went through or he analyzed during the experiment. Up now, he stated that an atom consists of a small, heavy, positively charged portion called nucleus, which is called nucleus. He named it as nucleus of an atom, which consists of a heavy, positively charged portion. There is a negatively charged portion which surrounds the nucleus containing electron. And he also said that there is an extranuclear part which is around the nucleus in which electrons are present. The number of protons and neutrons are equal into the number of electrons in the planetary. And the planetary means as a whole, there is the total number of electron and proton are same. Means proton equal to electron. Sorry, electron. I am getting confused and mispronouncing the electron and proton, to make sure you correct it. The electrons revolve around the nucleus, and he said that the electrons revolve around the nucleus in circular orbits. The centripetal force is equal to the electrostatic force. You know that when an atom or anything revolves in circular motion, it exists a force of centripetal, which is centripetal force. An electrostatic force is the binding force of an atom, which binds the electron. What happens? Which binds the electron and proton into a space, and also helps for reaction of an atom. Only a very small space is occupied by the nucleus. That it also states that nucleus was a very, very, very small particle. Okay. Now, let us revise this, that most of the alpha particles pass through straight line, which state the smaller part of an atom and have charge and mass called nucleus. Okay, which is the first one. Of the size of nucleus is smaller than size of an atom, which is over here. That very small volume or size is occupied by the nucleus. Atom as whole is a neutral particle. Electron move with high uniform speed. It also stated that electrons that are revolving around the nucleus move in uniform speed. But we will discuss the further defects of this form atomic model, which was given by Rutherford. So the Rutherford's atomic model is based upon the laws of motion and gravitation, which means where I told you that the centripetal force is equal to the electrostatic force, which is the Newton's third law of motion, that every force have a reaction force which is equal and opposite to its direction, which are applicable to neutral bodies, which is applicable to neutral body but not to charged bodies. But electron and proton were charged particles, which means it is not applicable to this. According to Maxwell's theory, any charged particle moving in circular path must radiate energy continuously, and ultimately electron must be spiral into the nucleus and atom will collapse. What it explains over here. It says that an electron which is revolving around this spin, which means it has charge, so it will continuously emit energy, which is the Maxwell theory. The Maxwell theory states that any charged particle moving in circular path will emit radiation or energy. It will emit radiation and energy. So if an electron is emitting energy, so it's like the speed will change and emit when the energy continuously emitting once will stop at a point and the atom will collapse into the nucleus. The electron will collapse into the nucleus. Explaining it again in Urdu, in which the Maxwell की जो थ्योरी है हमारे पास, which state कि कोई भी charged particle, कोई भी charged particle जो होता है, which is electron, और कोई circular path में घूमे, सर्कुलर पाथ में, तो वो क्या करता है, एनर्जी को इमिट करता है कंटिन्यूअसली जाते 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 एनर्जी क्या करता है, गिवन आउट। अगर एनर्जी गिवन आउट होती रहेगी बार बार जाते जाते, तो एक टाइम एट अ पॉइंट व्हेन द एनर्जी ऑफ द इलेक्ट्रॉन विल बी इक्वल टू 0, सो द इलेक्ट्रॉन विल कोलैप्स इनटू द न्यूक्लियस एंड द एटम विल कोलैप्स। फिर तो एटम कोलैप्स हो जाएगा इस तरह से। और अगर electrons emit energy continuously, it should form a continuous spectrum, but a line spectrum is formed. When we will understand about the continuous and line spectrum. Continuous spectrum is like a band of colors which we see in our daily life. The spectrum of sun, which is continuous, is like this. We have I can't color properly, but it's like this. But a line spectrum instead is of different colors. You can suppose it of different colors. Okay, where like some energy given out and then stopped, and some energy given out and then stopped, some energy given out and then it stopped. It's like this line spectrum. There are further types of spectrum, but I don't want to go in the detail. You should generally understand this, and then we will be discussing it in another lecture. सो अगर कंटिन्यूस एनर्जी इमिट करता है तो फिर एक कंटिन्यूस स्पेक्ट्रम आना चाहिए, तो जिसके अंदर कंटिन्यूस स्पेक्ट्रम मींस विद दैट एनर्जी, जो भी एटम को जब हम एनर्जी को मतलब उसमें रखा हमने स्पेक्ट्रम के उसमें या फिर स्पेक्ट्रोफोटोमीटर के अंदर, तो एक कंटिन्यूस स्पेक्ट्रम बनना चाहिए था, क्योंकि कंटिन्यूस एमिशन ऑफ एनर्जी थी। बट अ लाइन स्पेक्ट्रम इज ऑब्टेन्ड ऑफ ऑल एटम्स. Atoms have line spectrums. So these were the defects, properties, and the experiment of Rutherford's experiment. I hope you all would have understood it. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comment section. So, Allah Hafiz for this time.